I'm working on getting the car all nicely polished, I have to think about the trim that's going to go on, which is the next step after the car is fully done. And I'm starting to pull out the trim and look at it, and here's the hood molding, the hood lip molding, and you can see how it looks. And so this hood molding, it's aluminum and it has an anodized coating, and I can just polish this to the best of my ability and see how it comes out, but I know that if I get to the aluminum, I can make it look like stainless steel. So these aluminum pieces, they come with an anodized coating. So to remove it, what I found that works is just oven and grill cleaner. And I got this from the 99-cent store, so you don't have to spend too much. Just go to the 99-cent store and pick yourself one of these cheap, you know, or any cheap bargain store. Pick up an oven grill cleaner, and what I do is I spray it on liberally, and I only leave it on there for a minute, 2 minutes max. Just stand there and watch over it, because this is highly corrosive and you don't want to make the aluminum worse. You only want to remove the anodized coating. So what I do is leave it on there for 1-2 minutes max, and then I take a Scotch-Brite pad, the green one, and I just basically scrub it down, get all that cleaner, all the oven cleaner off. And if there's still an anodized coating, and you will see the difference, just repeat. And again, 1 to 2 minutes max. Don't let it go too much, because you don't want the stuff to eat through the aluminum and mess it up or give pitting or whatever. So just repeat until you get it all nice and clean. When you get it clean, it's going to look like this. Just straight up aluminum, dull, and all clean from the anodized coating. Now if you have dents, like over here you can see there's a little dent, just basically pound them out and treat it like if it's a body filler. Treat the aluminum like it's body filler. Pound it out and just sand it down until it's nice and smooth. You know, you want to, I guess you want to kind of create a tiny little bit of a high so that you can sand it down. Or if you can get it flat, if you're that good, because I know I'm not that good, you know, making this perfectly flat. But if you can get it perfectly flat and then sand it down smooth, more props to you. So basically, just sand it down and then get all the imperfections off. So anyway, this is what you're left with. And so obviously these are not the Nova pieces, these are extra pieces I had. So these are kind of like my test pieces. So now, after you're done with that, you need to polish them. And so there's two things you can use. You could either use, this is what I like to use, the Blue Magic Metal Polish Cream. This stuff is awesome. I've used this on previous projects like the Eagle Talon that I used to have, and I polished everything from intake manifolds, valve covers, turbocharger compressor housings, anything that was aluminum I polished with this, and I did it all by hand, and this stuff is awesome. And you just use a terry cloth towel to get the polish on there, or you can do it with a bench grinder with some polishing wheels. Now what I use is I use two stones, basically the black and the white. The black one, I use it on this harder what is it, this cloth pad, whatever you call this polishing wheel or buffing wheel. I use the black because the black is an aggressive cream, so it basically cuts. And then after I get it to where I like it, I hit it with a white stone with a softer wheel. You can see it's much softer, and I just basically buff it out. Now this is black because when you polish aluminum, it leaves off a black residue, so that's why it's black. It's not because I have black cream on there. I actually have a white cream on there, but it just turns black, so it's just normal. And after you do the buffing, this is what you're left with. So you can see the gleam on there. So it's really, really shiny. So it came out really sweet. Okay, so I got the little dent out, and you can see it left a little pitting, but there's no dent. So that was the best I can do. I can probably try more, but since it is a pitting, if I was to really sand that down, you know, bump it out and sand it down, I might create a hole. So rather than risk getting a hole, I'm gonna leave it the way it is, because when you're looking at it, it's really not gonna show that much when you polish it out, and then of course when I clear coat it. So basically I just removed it, and then I just pounded it out, and then used 320 sandpaper and sanded it down smooth so that it doesn't show. And I did the whole thing with 320. And then after I was done with the 320, I took some 2000 grit wet sand and just basically wet sanded the metal to get a smooth finish. So now I'm going to hit it by hand. I'm going to take a terry cloth, a nice new one. You can see it's nice and clean, and I'm going to polish this apart by hand so that you can see how it looks if you was to do it by hand. So I'm going to do that right now, and I will get back. Okay, so I spent about 5 minutes polishing out, and you can see all the black residue that is left. And so when I polish, I wait until the black residue is shiny before I move on to a next section. When it is fully saturated with metal. It's just my style, I don't know, it seems to work better for me when I do it by hand. And then after, I decided to hit it with a microfiber because it's softer, and I polished away on it, and the results are this right here. This is by hand. Now if you compare it to the machine, let's see, this is machine, and so let's see, this is by hand. You can definitely tell that the machine is a lot brighter. It sends off a better reflection, you can see. And then over here, I really can't see the lettering on the camera, but nonetheless, the results from doing it by hand are a lot better than the factory. You know, if you have an old car, it's gonna look a lot better than what it did. So now if I was to go ahead and hit it with the buffer, I'll get a nice clean polish. I'm gonna try to hit this right here with the buffer, and then we'll look at the difference between the buffer and by hand. And I'm just showing you this because if you don't have if you don't have this machine, or if you don't want to buy a machine, whatever the case may be, don't think that you're out of luck. You can do it by hand. I mean, I've done a lot of polishing by hand in the past, and this looks great for aluminum. But me, personally, I'm trying to get chrome, or it to look like chrome, so that all the trim matches between the window and of course the front there. So that's just my preference. But you know, you can just get it nicely polished by hand, and it'll look really nice. So let me do it with the machine, and I'll show you the big difference. Okay, so I did the machine for like a minute, and I did the bottom half. And let's see, there you can see the lettering on the camera, and this is only a minute. And so let me move across to the area that I did by hand, and you can see that the lettering kind of disappears, but you still have a shine. Move it back. You see the lettering is still there. So that's the only difference between doing it with the machine and doing it by hand. But you can see just the machine makes it look a little bit more chrome, and by hand you can get it to look polished aluminum. So that's the only difference. You can see the cloudiness, and the hand in the way I did it when I did it by hand, and then of course the machine does it really nice. So that's what I'm tackling now. After I'm done polishing them out, I'll take these off, and when the car is fully polished, I get to put them back on. I also got to do the hood trim piece, and then of course I get to tackle the stainless steel trim. I'm gonna take a look at those, and if there's any scratches and such, I'm going to give them a good polish. And my goal is to make all of these pieces match. Now obviously these are going in the front, and I am going to clear coat these because I don't want to be hassling with trying to keep them clean and polish them every couple of weeks. I just, you know, the car's going to be a driver, so I do want them to look nice and new, but I don't want to spend, you know, a lot of time in trying to keep these, you know, looking new. I just want them to last. So a good coat of clear, maybe one coat of clear on those, a nice wet coat should make them nice. So here are my trim, polished and clear coated. So I put 2 coats of clear on them just to give it that added protection, because I worked hard on polishing them, so I don't want them to get messed up anytime soon. I want them to, you know, give me at least a couple years. But they came out good. The eyebrows and the hood molding came out especially nice, which are the 2 pieces that I really wanted to focus on. So they came out really shiny. There's the hood molding. And the clear coat didn't take away the shine, so I'm very happy with that. So you can see there. And then this piece here, this one goes in between these 2 pieces. I'm happy with the way these come out, even though they won't show that much. This one will show, so that one came out really nice. You can see the reflection on it, so that came out really sweet. And these, so I show you basically what goes on there. These are the buckets that go around the headlights. And so basically the way they go is this would sit right around there. So you're only going to see maybe maximum an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch of that headlight molding. So that's why I stated that you know, it wasn't really a big deal. They came out alright. They didn't come out perfect, but when you put this in front, they look perfect, which is what I was after. So with these, I may just paint them all black, just to, you know, make these stand out more. So I might just do this all in black. And then the headlights, they actually have a retaining ring that's supposed to be chrome. Obviously mine is rusted, but I think I can get them reproduction. So if I get these in chrome, then the chrome would be on the outside and on the inside of this. So I think that that's what I'm gonna go with. I'll just paint those satin black, and that'll look really sweet. Now as far as these, just so that you know how they go in the car, they basically go, the eyebrow, one of the eyebrows go right here, okay? Then we got the hood molding that goes all the way across, and then the other eyebrow, and then under the eyebrow and under the headlight goes that curved piece that I didn't care too much about. Then we have the piece that goes all the way across, the long piece, which I do care about because this grill goes on top of it, and the shiny part actually sticks out. And then of course we have the other portion of the thing, of the headlight molding. So this is the original one that came on the car, but I'm not going to keep this one. It's cracked and it's kind of broken, so I'm going to get a new one in black because I really like the black. And then this, I would like to find this in chrome, but if I can't, then I'm thinking that I may just paint this black, red, which is the same color as the car, And so maybe on the outside black, so it'll be black and red. I'm not sure, or just all red. I don't know, I'll decide. And then we have these rings, which I'm gonna polish out so they look really nice and shiny. So there it is. The pieces came out sweet. All that hard work was worth it, for sure. Definitely worth it. And all these pieces are now reborn. Original, but yet restored to a wonderful luster. Hope you enjoyed. Get one more look. Beautiful. Thank you very much for watching.